Hello, hello, and welcome to Frank's School. We're going to come to two endings today. I'm going to end my guiding of you through Burke's documentary, and also in the second video today, the Decentralist Manifesto. All right, back to Burke. I'd asked you to stop there. Well, I'd like you to begin. This is the 10th episode, Worlds Without End, and take it to the end. It's pretty easy to understand. He's going to start on an oil rig in the Gulf of Mexico. And why he does that really is because there they can pull out rock cores drilled down into the earth. And he explains about magnetism and how it eventually, after some 40 years or 50 years, justified what this guy, Alfred Wegener, had said. I had to look the name up. I hadn't heard of him, but I found him anyway. He had suggested that maybe continental drift had occurred. And, this is 20th century. That was 20th century. But that was ridiculous. That was accepted as ridiculous, but then it was proven. And he goes on to say that science doesn't progress very slowly and figures things out as it goes, but rather stuff upsets other stuff. Well, there was an essay back in the 1970s. It was called something like On the Nature of Scientific Revolutions. I never quite get the name quite right, but you could find it. It was a very influential essay. I owned a copy of it at one point, but I gave it away to a friend. But I understood what he was saying. He was saying in that essay that science, you get a status quo that ends up supporting itself, and it does its research and stuff. I mean, this would be like professors who do their studying and then they become professors in universities and then they coach others, and they do research, but it doesn't. But it tends to stay the same. I'm not explaining this very well. Until something comes along that upsets everything, like a logjam has to break loose, and then it goes again because a new idea shows up. And in that essay, the guy, I'm sorry, I could have researched it and told you his name, he says that's the way science always occurs, in revolutions, not a steady thing. And Burke must have read that, but Burke is suggesting the same thing. Well, then he goes back to Greece, where he had started the series with our idea of logic and rationalism. But then he jumps to Buddhism in Nepal. Now this may seem long. It seemed a little long to me. There's lots of stuff to see, but the trouble is I don't understand it. We don't, in the West, understand it, really. But that's, in a way, his point. It is so different. That attitude toward the universe is so different. It stands as such a contrast to our Greek way of thinking. Well, then as he approaches the end, he comes up with a computer chip on his fingertip. Now, this was done in 1985. Keep that in mind. That's 30 years ago. That was before... Well, the personal computer existed, but wasn't widely available, and the internet wasn't really thought of. But anyway, he suggests it with that, and I pulled these words out. I heard him use the word centralized. Avoid centralized. Now, the Decentralist Manifesto is what I'm reading, and I'll finish reading it today. I've suggested right along that I thought that within Burke, within what he was saying, there was a certain impulse toward decentralism. And I hear it right there. I mean, this is coming to the end of a long series, and here are the words he's using. He also refers to what's possible as a sort of balanced anarchy. Well, I neither of those things, decentralism and balanced anarchy, I don't think has really occurred, not the way he's suggested, but that doesn't mean it won't. And then right there at the end, he says, well, if the universe is what you say it is, or can be what you say it is, then say. And that's how he ends his series, with that command, say. And you know, when I was watching this, trying to decide what I teach about it, I took that as a mandate, in a sense. I decided, all right, I'll say. And that's why it was pretty much there that I resolved, I will read and make public my Decentralist Manifesto. Because whether it's right or wrong, that is the universe that I suggested that I've been living in for 40 years, and so I will say. Well, I hope you've enjoyed this. I started this guided viewing about the first week in January, and it's taken quite a long time, but I absolutely think it's worthwhile. His series, and I hope that my gloss, as I've called it, my guidance, has helped you to work your way through it to some extent. Today is actually Sunday morning, and Monday I'm going to start something quite different on several accounts. So I hope to see you later today, with my second video today, and if not then, well, then Monday. Bye for now.